Good day everyone, my name is Earl Harvey Isachago from BSed English 1A, a little teacher of Study of 9, and today me and my group will present to you our video presentation on Module 4 Learner-Centered Pedagogy. So let's start off with A. Delivery modalities. So what exactly is delivery modalities? This refers to a learning delivery modality where learning takes place between the teacher and the learner who are geographically remote from each other during these instructions. The following are modalities in teaching students. For example, number 1, face-to-face. So face-to-face is an instructional method where course contents and learning materials are taught in person to a group of students, and this allows for a live interaction between learner and instructor. So it is the most traditional type of learning instruction, and there is an opportunity for active engagement, immediate feedback, and social emotional development for the learners. So let's continue with blended learning. Actually, blended learning actually has 4 types. So let's start off with the definition of blended learning. So blended learning is an approach to learning that combines face-to-face and online learning. So students learn via electronic and online media as well as the traditional face-to-face class. The following are some examples of the blended learning. So there are 4. One is station rotation blended learning. So this is a model that allows students to rotate through stations on a fixed schedule, where at least one of the station is an online learning station. So number 2, the second type, remote blended learning or enriched virtual. In this model, the students focus in on complete online learning or coursework while only meeting with the teacher intermittently or as needed. This approach differs from the flipped classroom. So speaking of flipped classroom, we go to the third type. The flipped classroom blended learning is one where students are introduced content at home and practice working through in school, supported by a teacher or on by peers this way. Traditional roles for each space are flipped. In other words, studying at school and learning at home. So the fourth type, or the final one, which is mastery-based blended learning. Students rotate between online and face-to-face learning based on the completion of master-based learning objectives. Assessment design is crucial in any master-based learning experience. So we have the third. We go to number 3 or third, technology-based online learning. Learning via electronic technology includes the internet's satellite broadcast, audio and video, greater accessibility to learning by offering anytime and anywhere delivery of information. So online learning, on the other hand, refers to the idea of using online tools for learning. So this is opposite of the traditional learning style. An online course implies a distance between the students and the teachers. Lectures, assignment, tests are enabled via virtual platform. So instead of physical content, the content is now virtual or online. So while e-learning typically refers to the online interaction between the student and the teacher, students receive the training through an online medium. For example, like Messenger, Google Chat or Google Messenger, Google Classroom, and the Google Meet. So we move to number 4, distance learning. Distance learning is synonymous with online learning. It is a method of study where teachers and students do not meet in a classroom but learned materials are sent through online emails to the classes. So basically, this is exactly like online learning, but not, because it's not virtual. The content or the assignment is sent to the child. Now, now let's go with now let's go to the structures for facilitating learning center teaching. So let's start with the traditional one, or formal. The traditional style is concerned with teacher being the controller of the learning environment. So the teacher is the main focus. He or she gives guidance to the students, or gives them the assignments. Also, power and responsibility are held by by the teachers, and they play the role of the instructor to instruct them, give them knowledge in the form of lectures and decision. They also act like a decision maker. In regards to the curriculum and specific outcomes, approaches are generally teacher directed, and where students are taught in a manner that is conducive to sitting and just listening. So let's move on with alternative learning system, also known as the ALS. This is a practical option to the existing formal instruction, so that students can complete basic education in a mode that fits their distinct situation. Under this flexible program, learning can take place anytime and any place, depending on the convenience and availability of the learners. This program is for the working and the disadvantaged adults who wish to complete their primary and secondary education under the Alternative Learning System Republic Act number 11510. A learning system that is different from the traditional classroom-based methods will be formally established. So there are three types of the ALS. So let's start with the non-formal education. Non-formal education, also known as the NFE, refers to education that occurs outside the formal school system. It is often used to interchangeably with terms such as community education, adult education, lifelong education, and second chance education. It is an integral part of a lifelong learning concept that ensures the young people and adults to acquire and maintain the skills, abilities, dispositions need to adapt to a continuously changing environment. So let's continue with the second one, which is informal education, or INFED. Does not have the structure and levels that formal schools have. It's more of a natural and spontaneous meaning. The information that one learns through this form of education comes from learning from experience. Example, formal education can teach you about fire and physics in a more advanced class. Advanced classes, therapeutic, but informal education is when you see a person burning, and when they touch a pot handle without a pot holder, and you learn that the heat from a stove is transferred to the pot handle, so you should be careful. So basically, in informal education, you learn from experience. Unlike in classrooms, you just sit and listen to what the teacher is saying. In informal education, you get up close and personal, so you can gain experience and learn. So let's continue with the mobile teachers. Are specialized teachers who live among the people in remote barangays of the country and conduct the BLP for illiterate out-of-school youth and adults who are willing to learn basic literacy skills and accreditation and equilibrium. Continuing education for those who left formal school systems or have no access to schools. They are called mobile teachers because they go from one place to another where they are needed. So let's move on to alternative delivery modes, or ADM. So ADM refers to the non-traditional education program recognized by Department of Education (DepEd), which applies a flexible learning philosophy and a curricular delivery program that includes non-formal and informal source of knowledge and skills. These are tried and tested alternative modalities of education delivery within the confines of the formal system that allows schools to deliver quality education to marginalized students and those at risk of dropping out in order to help them overcome personal, social, economic, and economic constraints in their schooling. So there are three types to the ADM. One is modified in-school, off-school approach, or MIMOSA. Is an alternative delivery mode of education meant to address the problem of congestion, overcrowding to the classroom, and teacher shortage resulting of the big class size, less contact time with pupils, absenteeism, and insufficient learning materials. So, classes under Mimosa are divided into two groups, the in-school group and the off-school group, wherein the in-school group learns typically in classroom setups, while the off-school group is given the flexibility to learn and do the activities independently or with a learning facilitator. Then, in the in-school group, we'll exchange with the experience, the learning intervention of those in the off-school group, and vice versa. Moreover, both groups will report at the school at the same time for enrichment and assessment of learning. So basically, it's two groups with two different setups, but at the end of the day, they will meet at school and exchange what they learned. So let's continue on with enhanced instructional management by parents, communities, and teachers, also known as E-Impact. Is a learning system in the Philippines that was designed in 2010 by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, or CMEO. So, through E-Impact, CMEO wants to solve problems in the education in Philippines public school, such as lack of classrooms, teachers, textbooks, high dropout rates, and low budget allocations for education. This technology-enhanced alternative delivery mode of learning consists of the peer-led approach as the main process that allows pupils to learn, interact with each other, and develop their fullest potential. Every pupil has access to modules and instructional materials to guide him or her in the education, more than being trained on how to become facilitators of learning process. Now the school's faculty learn new perspectives about children and child education. Parents and members of the community become actively engaged in sustaining the system and making it work. Their support is crucial in ensuring that the e-learning process continues in the homes, thus, in the process, learning with the child, a whole community is transformed. So, so the last one is Open High School Program, or OHSP. It is an alternative mode of formal secondary education program run by the Bureau of Secondary Education, or BSE, of the Department of Education, DepEd. So the program provides an opportunity for elementary school graduates, high school dropouts, and successful examinees of the Philippine Education Placement Test, or PEPT, to complete secondary education in a purely distance learning mode. The program provides printed self-learning modules for students to use for their lessons and classroom activities. It is intended for the students who would otherwise be unable to pursue a formal secondary education due to rigid requirements for regular students. It also caters to learners who are unable to attend regular class programs due to physical impairments, work, financial difficulties, and distance of home to the school, and other justifiable and legitimate reasons.
Good afternoon, class, and especially to you, Coach Jude. Now, I'm going to continue further the topic of what Mr. Santiago discussed. C. Methods and strategies. There are several time-tested methods and strategies that learning-centered teachers can utilize in the classroom. Teachers can deploy or employ variety of methods or strategies appropriate to the learning styles of the student can carry out the objectives of the lesson to be taught. 1. Methods. A. Active learning activities is any learning activity in which the student participates or interacts with the learning process, as opposed to passively taking in the information. When given the opportunity to actively engage with the information they are learning, students perform better. Examples of the active learning techniques include role-playing, case studies, group projects, think, pair, and shares, debate just in time, teaching and short demonstrations followed by class discussion. B. Cooperative learning activities is a generic term for various small group interactive instructional procedures. Students can work together on the academic tasks, small groups to help themselves and their teammates learn together. Examples of cooperative learning activities are pair or group discussion, role play, jigsaw, think, pair, share, write, pair, share, and fishbowl debate. C. Inquiry and inductive learning activities. Inductive learning powerful strategy for helping students deeper their understanding of content and develop their influence and evidence gathering skills. Example of inquiry activities are case studies, group projects, research project, field work, especially in science lesson, unique exercises tailored for the students. 2. Learner-centered instructional strategies. One cooperative learner is a successful teaching strategy in which small teams, each which student of the different levels of the learning, a variety of learning activities, their understanding of a subject, each member of that team is responsible of learning is taught, but also helping for teammates learning, thus creating an atmosphere of achievement. 2. Presentations. The instructional learning strategy of using student presentation as a way to present content. The classroom all can be fun and engaging method. For example, teaching the hands and topic of the students group and have them present for information. Each topic or content presentation only help student learning the material deeper, but also provide them with practice and public speaking. 3. Panels in panel discussion. A selected group of students act as panel, the remaining class member act as the audience. A panel leader is chosen and she summarize panel discussion, open discussion of the audience. 4. Is an instructional reading strategy that is used to guide student through a text. Student begins brainstorming by and everything they know. Information is recorded in the K column of the KWL chart. KWL charts are graphic organizers. Student organize information before, during, and after a unit or a lesson. They can be used to engage student in a topic, activate prior knowledge, share unit objectives, and monitor student learning. 5. Brainstorming is a large or small group activity that encourages students to focus on a topic and contributes to the free flow ideas. The teachers may begin a brainstorming session by posing a question or a problem or by introducing a topic. Students can express a possible answer and relevant ideas. Contributions are accepted without criticism or judgment and usually summarized on the whiteboard by the teacher or ascribed as the idea are called out. These ideas are examined usually is in an open class discussion format. 6. Learner-created media involves a high degree of engagement, promotes individual learning, social interactions, and immersions, and is highly customizable and collaborative. It provides an alternative or a complement to traditional undergraduate student research. Number 7, discussion is a variety of forums for open-ended collaborative exchange of ideas among teacher and student or among student or purpose of the learning further student thinking, learning, problem solving, understanding, participant variety, multiple points of view, response to the ideas of others and reflect on their own ideas is an effort to build their knowledge, understanding, or interpretation of the matter at hand. The following are advantages of discussion is 1. In a discussion class, the students are actively involved in processing information ideas. 2. Since student initiated Questions are more common in discussion classes. Their needs and interests are dealt with more readily and spontaneously than in other methods. 3. Because students play a more active role in discussion, student diversity of backgrounds and can be exploited in the generation of ideas, approaches, and examples. 4. Students receive practice in formulating questions and communicating their ideas. 5. Discussion can be used to examine student attitudes, disadvantages. 1. Discussion method is the least effective method for conveying factual information. Discussion can be every time consuming and unconfused make an effort to direct the flow. Number 3, because an instructor is often had a difficulty in getting the student involved at first, the temptation to slip into a review session or a mini lecture is great. 4. Class size must be restricted. Small groups allow presented the topic or idea of group discussion among participants. A small group discussion follows guidelines and allows everyone to many ideas to discuss and reflect upon. Discussion allows for interchange with ideas of a group under the direction of a presenter. Method is generally used as a part of a larger course rather than the only teaching method. In the situation, the students work in pairs of small groups of a problem application analysis. The instructor prepares a descriptive of a task beforehand, divides the large group into small group of 2 to 7 groups per student assigned. The instructor they can be recommends large group as the groups compares their solutions. Number 9. Case studies often involve simply observing what happened to or reconstructing the case story of a single participant of group to individuals. In the method of a situation is drawn for real life and followed by step to illustrate and generally principle or problem-solving strategy. Case study are more useful when students are learning a process of information analysis or asking questions. They are particularly beneficial if the student can go through several cases sequentially, during which the instructor begins by directing the process and gradually shifts to allowing the student to direct the process. Number 10, jigsaw is a method of organizing classroom activities that makes students depend on each other to succeed. It breaks classes into groups and breaks assignment to complete the jigsaw puzzle. It is a cooperative learning strategy that enables each student of a home group to specialize in one aspect of a topic. For example, one group studies habitats of rainforest animals, other group studies predators of rainforest animal. Students meet members from other group who are assigned the same aspect and after mastering the material return to the home group and teaching the material to their group members. With this strategy, each student in the home group serves as a piece of the topic's puzzle, and when they work together as a whole, they create the complete jigsaw puzzle. Number 11, Learning Center is an exploratory and interactive learning strategy where students rotate in groups to different activities that reinforce and extend the classroom learning. As a student rotate, the designated around the area, the classroom, they demonstrate their understanding of a topic and practice skills through tasks that integrate various learning styles. To implement this strategy, a teacher should be first determines a skill or a content area to focus and selects several activities related to the objective. The materials for each activity are placed in a specific location around the classroom and students complete the activities in small groups while the teachers provide supports to individual students. And that's all for my topic. Now let's have Miss Maricard to continue my topic here. Thank you.
To continue the discussion of Mr. Arnel Arcillas, let's me discuss what is the experiment. Experiment is a test done to prove or understand something. You change one thing to see how it affects something else. Next is the role play. It takes like acting out a situation to learn from it. You pretend to be someone else in a certain situation to understand it better. Next is the simulation. This is like a pretend world created by a teacher. It helps students learn by experiencing situations in a controlled environment. Next is the laboratory strategies. It's learning by doing experiments in a lab. Students get hands-on experience and learn how things work. Next is the workshop. It's a learning method where students take charge of their own learning. They are active and engaged in their work. Next is the demonstration. It's teaching by showing how to do something step by step. The audience learns by watching and then doing it themselves. Next is the inquiry-based strategy. It's about students exploring and asking questions to learn. They use evidence and creative thinking to understand things better. The next is the mental models. These are like organized patterns in the mind that help you understand things, like a map that helps you navigate through a topic. And the last is the project-based learning. Students learn by working on a project over time. They tackled real-world problems and challenges to gain deeper knowledge.
Good day everyone, I am Arnem Tangkapa and today I'm going to continue the discussion of Maricardo Imba. Problem-based learning is a teaching method in which complex real-world problems are used as the vehicle to promote student learning concepts and principles. As opposed to direct presentation of facts and concepts, it can promote the development of critical thinking skills, problem solving abilities, and communication skills. It can also provide opportunities for working in groups, finding and evaluating research materials, and lifelong learning. So, problem based learning is a teaching style that pushes students to become the drivers of their learning education. Problem based learning uses complex real world issues as the classroom subject matter, encouraging students to develop problem solving skills and learn concept instead of just observing the facts. Discovery learning was introduced by Jerome Bruner and is a method of inquiry-based instruction. This popular theory encourage learners to build on past experience and knowledge, use their intuition, imaginations, and creativity, and search for new information to discover facts. Correlations and truths, it is the use in a classroom during problem solving exercises and educational programs. Advantage. The number one is encourage motivation, active involvement, and creativity. Number two, it can be adjusted to the learner's pace. Number three is it promotes autonomy and independence. And last one, number four, it ensures higher level of retentions. Discovery learning is an inquiry-based learning method that takes a constructivist approach to education, where students are encouraged to construct their own knowledge through a self-directed learning process, essentially instruction-less learning. Social media are tools that allow for social interaction and easy creations of content by users. It can be an effective tool for teaching and learning in higher education. It can help connect students to informations and help them to generate a dialogue with their teacher and other students about a course. Can also help students and faculty build professional networks that can connect to them to communities beyond. The use of social media in education enables students and teachers and parents to get helpful information easily, connect with other learning groups, and understanding one other educational system. And all these are the reason why social media plays a key role in making education convenient these days. So games or gamification. Gamification is turning the learning process as the whole into the game, while games-based learning is using a game as part of the learning process. It turns the entire learning process into game. It takes game mechanics and gameplay elements and applies them to existing learning courses and content in order to better motivate and engage learning. Example of these mechanics include achievement, badge, points, leaderboards, progress bars, and level quiz. Gamification is the integrations of game elements like point system, leaderboards, badges, or other elements related to games into conventional learning activities in order to increase engagement and motivations in students. Competitions. Competition are great tools in preparing students for their career preferences later in their life. These methods can teach a child certain attributes and traits that can help him or her later in life. Competition in any form brings out the best in people and pushes them to excel. Competition in the classroom is quite healthy. It should, in fact, be encouraged. It allows students to extend themselves, to explore their real capabilities, and maximize their true potential. It is most productive when it occurs among students of similar abilities. The competitive environment motivates learners to push themselves further, setting higher goals and standards for themselves. This in turn leads to increased productivity, improved performance, and better exam results. Debate. A debate involves students in expressing their opinions from two competing perspectives with goal contradicting each other's argumentative. Opportunity for decision may be given after opposing views are presented in alternating statement. Engaging student in discussion and debate encourage students to create their own understanding of the content and connect it to their experiences. As an instructional method, debating involves students in expressing their opinions from two competing perspectives, with the goal of contradicting each other's arguments. Opportunity for decision may be given after opposing views are presented. And that's all. Thank you.
Good day to all, especially to you, Ma'am Coach Jude Martinez. I am Marika Mabolo from Study Hub 9, BSed English 1A. And thank you guys for your wonderful reports. Now let's have a short summary about the methods and strategies in learner-centered teaching. According to my fellow reporters earlier, it focuses on actively engaging students in their own learning process. It involves shifting the focus from the teacher imparting knowledge to facilitating the learning experience for students. Now, some methods and strategies in learner-centered teaching include active learning techniques, inquiry-based learning, cooperative learning, based learning, and flipped classroom. Now, with these approaches, encourage students to take ownership of their learning, promote critical thinking, and foster deeper understanding of the subject matter. Now, let me start with my first topic, which is the flexible learning and teaching. Now, flexible learning and teaching refers to approaches that accommodate various learning styles, needs, and circumstances. Now, this can include online courses, hybrid learning models, personalized instruction, and adaptable curriculum designs. Now, this, spec- this flexibility allows educators to meet the diverse needs of students and adapt to changing educational landscapes. Now, flexible learning and teaching involves creating opportunities for students to learn in ways that suits their individual needs, preferences, and circumstances. This can mean offering a range of learning materials and resources, allowing students to learn at their own space, providing options for remote or in-person learning, and incorporating various instructional methods such as lectures, discussions, group work, and hands-on activity. Flexibility also extends to assessment methods, enabling students to demonstrate their understanding and skills in ways that align with their strengths and interests. Now, ultimately, the goal is to create an inclusive and supportive learning environments that maximize students' engagement and success. Now, by implementing these flexible learning and teaching strategies, the course promotes inclusive engagement and student success, ultimately enriching the learning experience for everyone involved. Now, let's move on to our next topic, which is the differentiated learning. Now, what is differentiated learning? The differentiated learning is also known as differentiated instruction. Involves tailoring teaching methods, materials, and assessments to accommodate the diverse learning needs, interests, and abilities of students within a single classroom. So the differentiated learning aims to create an inclusive and supportive learning environment where all students can strive and reach their full potentials and regardless of their backgrounds or activity or abilities. Now, according to Tomlinson, teachers can differentiate instructions through four ways. The first is content, process, product, and learning environments. So the first is the content differentiation. This involves modifying what students learn, how they access information, and the material used to deliver the content. Teachers may provide different reading levels, multimedia resources, and alternative text to ensure all students can access and engage with the materials at their level. Process differentiation. Process refers to how students make sense of the content. Teachers can vary instructional methods, activities, and tasks to accommodate different learning styles and differences and preferences. For example, some students might learn best through hands-on activity while others prepare visual aids or discussion. And the third is product differentiation. Product differentiation focuses on how students demonstrate their understanding of the content. Instead of all students completing the same assignments or assessments, teachers provide various options for students to showcase their learning. This could include project presentation or essay or multimedia creation, allowing students to demonstrate their understanding in ways that align their strengths and interests. And the fourth is learning environment differentiation. These aspects involve adapting the classroom environment to support diverse learning needs. Teachers can arrange seatings, provide flexible groupings options, offer quiet spaces and individual work, or incorporate sensory tools to create a supportive learning atmosphere for all students. Now, by differentiating instruction across these four dimensions, teachers can better meet the diverse needs of their students and create inclusive learning environment where all learners can thrive. Now, let's all move on to our next topic, which is the education in emergency. Now, education in emergencies refers to the provision of learning opportunities and support to individuals affected by crises such as conflicts, natural disaster, epidemic, or other emergency. For example, protection and safety. Education in emergency prioritizes the safety and protection of students, teachers, and educational facilities. Measures may include establishing safety learning environments, implementing child protection policies, training staffs or safeguarding procedures, and promoting awareness of risks such as landmines, armed conflict, or natural hazard. And our second example is the building resilience and recovery. Education is a key component of resilience buildings and long-term recovery in post-crisis settings. By providing education during emergency, communities can help it, it can help mitigate the long-term impacts of crisis, promote social cohesion, and support the rebuilding of infrastructure and livelihoods. So overall, education in emergencies plays a vital role in ensuring that children and youth affected by crisis and have access to quality learning opportunities, protection, and support, enabling them to continue their education and rebuild their lives amidst challenges circumstances. Now we have fundamental standards. Foundational standards are the fundamental principles or guidelines upon which other standards, practices, or systems are built. They provide a framework for consistency, interoperability, and quality across various domains, such as technology, education, healthcare, and industry. These standards often serve as the basis for developing more specific regulations, protocols, or best practices within the given field. Now, for example, in technology, fundamental standards might include protocols or communication between devices or coding conventions for software development. So in education, they could be principles for curriculum designs or criteria for evaluating students' performance. Now, these standards ensuring consistency, compatibility, and quality across different applications or contexts within that field. And lastly, we have the teaching learning domain. Now, it refers to the process of education where knowledge, skills, and understanding are imparted from the teacher or instructor to a learning and students. It encompasses various aspects such as curriculum designs, instructional methods, assessment practices, and the learning environment. So we have curriculum designs. This involves planning what will be taught or how it will be taught, and when it will be taught. It includes selecting learning objectives, organizing content, and designing learning experiences to meet the needs of students. The second, we have the instructional method. These are the strategies and techniques used by teachers to facilitate learning. They can range from traditional methods like lectures and textbook to more interactive approaches such as group discussion, hands-on activity, and multimedia presentation. So, overall, the teaching learning domain focuses on creating effective and engaging learning experiences that support students and acquiring knowledge, development skills, and achieving learning goals. And that's all for my topic. Thank you for listening.